Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the BlueMoon podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a few things. First of all, we'll get our first segment, which is something that has happened to me. Um, so, listen, I know that these don't have to be funny, okay? But we're going to get the funny ones done with first. So let me think. What has been really funny that's happened in my life? Oh, this is pretty funny. So yesterday I got the mail and my mom got home and she asked if there was any mail. And I was like, well, I got the mail from yesterday, which was the day before yesterday. And she was like, okay, what came in it? And I said, it 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 came tomorrow. And so yeah, so my English got messed up there. But yeah, it came tomorrow. Yeah, that wasn't really that funny, was it? But I just thought maybe I would do that. Um, and then I want to talk about um something, and that is the halftime show for the Super Bowl, which was like what 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point. So wow, really outdated. And by the time that this comes out, it'll be like a month ago. So um yeah, so the problem that I have with the Super Bowl halftime show is the fact that they got kids. After the show was done, they had kids come on the stage. Little kids. But not just that. That's not it. That's not all. Um, Shakira created a challenge on Twitter, and it was about her dance that she did during the halftime show. And it's really fucked up because she was having people record themselves doing the dance. And I mean, okay, for adults, fine. You can shake your hips all you want. But for small kids that are like not even 5 years old in skimpy clothing, shaking their hips, and like their parents are filming them shaking their hips, and then Shakira is not retweet. Well, I guess you could say she's retweeting these and sharing them for everybody to see. She has a big audience, by the way. Um, I have a problem with that. And listen, I know what you're gonna say. Well, okay, but there's some late night hosts that will have their own challenges, like I believe it was like Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, had like these challenges during Halloween where it's like, oh, pretend that you stole your kid's Halloween candy, like like it's one of those things, um, but no, that's completely different, completely, because A, they're not in skimpy clothing, and B, they're not trying to shake their hips, and also C, it's just wrong. It's like, how can a woman, I don't care who you are, how could an adult make a video of their kids and post it online of them shaking their hips, of them in very skimpy clothing shaking their hips? How can you, as a parent, decide, oh, I gotta do this challenge. Oh my god, I just gotta do the challenge. How? And then millions upon millions of people see this on TikTok, and then also they see it on Twitter. Like, what the fuck? Seriously. And it's like, it feels like every week something like this happens. Like, something very stupid like this happens. And it's like, oh my god, like, why can't people just have brains in their heads? Like, seriously, it doesn't take, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't post this. Like, seriously, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do that. Then there was another challenge that was going around. It's been going around the last couple of days. It's called the Broom Challenge, where people are standing up their brooms. Listen, at least they're just standing up their brooms, okay? Like I can't really hate on this challenge because yes, it is very stupid, but at least they're not trying to kill themselves with another challenge. Like at least it's just, oh look, there's my broom. Let me stand it up in the kitchen or something. Like at least it's that, because like with a lot of these quote unquote challenges, it's just people doing a bunch of life threatening things to get views. And also sexual things to get views. And, so it's like at least like now, at least finally there's a challenge that isn't harmful, that people can do and people can't really get upset at because it's like, oh, well, at least they're not doing what they were doing like 3 years ago where they were eating Tide Pods. Like at least they're not drinking bleach, and so like that's how you know that society has gone downhill a lot recently. It's been a roller coaster of society just taking a big dip. Just whoo. But yeah, it's like at least it's something that isn't harmful to people. At least. Um, yeah, it's just very strange. And then another thing that I would like to talk about, and I know I'm kind of going sort of like fast through these, um, but bear with me, okay? Bear with me, please. Um, Another thing that I would like to talk about, uh, okay, so we talked about the broom challenge. Listen, I don't go off of bullet points, I don't. Um, but I probably should be going off of bullet points. I probably should. Um, so one thing that um, well, I guess I could talk about this. It it's like completely different from what I was just talking about. But I've been trying to find a way to put this out there, to put this subject out there. And I just didn't feel like it would be a good idea to put it out there when, like to put it on YouTube, because I know there's a community that would dislike this, what I'm about to say. Um, and so it kind of goes with a certain community. I don't hate that community. I have complete and utter respect for this community. I'm just gonna say that. I thought maybe we would talk about the natural hair movement. and my opinions about that. And I know that that's like completely different from what I was just talking about, but I have an afro. But I will say this: I'm not fully black. You've like if you've seen my channel in the past, you know that like I'm I'm like light skinned. You know, I'm not like Wovicki where it's like, oh, I'm completely white, but I say I'm black, and I'm not like those other people that are completely weird. Like, I'm acknowledging that I have enough black in me to have some African American features, but not all American. You know, so like I don't have the darkened skin like most people have. Um, I would say my skin is about like uh, kind of more native. Not well, not really native, but I guess like it's it's not as dark as people think it is. Let's just say that. Um, but I do have an afro, and I grow it out um, every 6 months. I get it cut, and when I get it cut, I go like complete short haired, like I completely start over, um, because I don't understand going in with a trim, and that's something I'll get into in a little bit. I just I don't understand like continuously going into a barber and like paying a lot of money just to get a trim. Like if I'm gonna go to the barber, I'm gonna get whatever I need to get done. Like if I'm going there to get my hair cut, I'm gonna get it cut. It's not gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna get like a few inches off. No, I'm not. That's just not how it works for me. Um, because then within like a couple of weeks it's back to where it was, and that's just it's really not going to do much for me. um yes, I get mine cut right before, um like right at like the middle of springtime, I would say. um Around like, I want to say ending of May maybe is when I get mine cut. um and then I grow it out, and then I get it cut again right before the cold weather starts. So around like early September, late August. Um, and you know, and so I grow it out from those periods because I'm not much of a hat person. Okay, so and so during the winter time, I like my hair to be long because I don't want to wear a hat. I'm not, again, I'm not a hat person. Um, but so here's here's the thing though. Um, you may be asking, well, okay, do do I cut it myself, or do I have my parents cut it, or do I go to a barber? Well, that's the thing that I wanted to talk about. I actually, it depends, okay, because I've moved around so much that right now where I'm staying, I there's no barber around here. Well, there probably is, but um, it's like, yeah, you're probably better off doing it yourself. Like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I don't trust barbers around here. I live out in the middle of East Bumblefuck nowhere, basically. So, um, which is fine because I can hear the birds chirping and I can hear the creek behind our house. I can hear that really well, and so it's really it's great, and um, so a couple years ago, I went to a black barber shop for the first time, and let me just tell you, It was amazing. It was amazing. And listen, whenever I go to a barber shop, um, it's it's the same experience over and over again. But this experience was just different because even though, and I'm not trying to be racist or anything like that, even though the person that was cutting my hair wasn't African American, he still knew how to handle my hair very, very kindly, and he wasn't like pulling it in any direction. He was being very gentle with it. And one thing that they do a lot at these black barber shops is that um, they make sure they get every detail. Like every every detail. Like they make sure that they really get it good, so you don't have to go back in for a while. And let me just tell you, that was the best experience of me getting my haircut. And I had long hair, and I believe it was a little longer than how I have it now. Um, I thought that it was gonna take ages. It took about an hour, but the like how in the beginning it's like all the extra stuff, I guess you could say, the the more noticeable stuff. Well, that stuff, he had some really great clippers, and that was just whoosh whoosh. Like within like 2 minutes, like the first 2 minutes, I already had short hair. Like that was like really great, and he was very like kind and like very kind to me, and it just I just felt like I fit. Like I just and it's like I it was just such a great experience to just go there and like have someone be very gentle to my hair and know what they're doing and make sure they get every single detail correct. I'm not one of those people that will go in for like those weird bowl cuts. I, yeah, I just completely, that's not my thing. But um, then I had my parents cut my hair recently. At the beginning of, not, oh yeah, I guess you could say it's the beginning of September. My mom cut my hair, and like, I kind of grew up with her cutting my hair all the time. And I know I'm gonna be 18 soon, so I should be doing it by myself. Um, which is why I wanted to. I wanted to, but I couldn't break the news to her because she still sees me as the little kid, like, so it's like I don't want to like break her heart. But it's like it's something that I've that like it's part of being independent, and like that's like how people live. Like eventually I'm gonna have to learn how to do it myself, and I've done it myself in the past, and um yeah, I don't do a good job, but and so like I would have help with it, but my mom was really rough with it. Was like really, and it hurt so badly, and she has this thing about my hair, and I don't know what it is because listen, I for forever I listen. I don't hate my afro hair. I really don't. There are some good things about it, but for the longest time, and even like right now, I would love to have straight hair because it's just you can do so much more with it. Like you can gel it up if you want to, or you can leave the way it's. Like it's there's just so much more you can do with it. I mean, and yes, I can do things with my hair. Like I can make it into dreads, but it's just something that I really don't particularly like doing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not something that I would want to do. Um, so I just brush it in the morning, and then that's how I have it. But she has this thing about my hair, and it's weird. It's like she has an obsession. 'Cause she'll be like, "Oh, I gotta get your hair cut. Oh, you gotta get a haircut. Oh, you gotta get a haircut." And it's like, it's like my hair grows out because I want it to grow out, you know? And it's, you know, like I'm not a part of the natural hair movement, um, but I do like having long hair during the wintertime. And not so much during the summertime. I don't see how some people can go through that. I mean, they probably have their own little like things that they do to, because it just gets so hot. And then like once I'm hot. Like I can't get cold again. It's weird. And I know that that sounds like an old person, but like that's kind of how I go through life. And so she's really rough with it. And so I I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but it's just my head hurt after that. It wasn't a nice experience. And so I I just feel like you know, it I I don't think that she hates my hair. I just and I'm not gonna throw her under the bus, you know, because she is my mom, but I would just like to know what is her obsession with me having short hair. I don't understand. Like it's something where it's like it's not causing any harm, it really isn't. Um, because she'll stay for like over 2 weeks, and she'll say, "Oh, well, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do this," and she'll say that on a daily basis, but she's too busy most of the time to do it. So, it's like weeks and weeks and weeks go by, and so it gets to the point where it's like it's unnecessary. Um, but one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up is because of Colin Kaepernick and because of what Michael Vick said a couple years ago. And I know this is this was a couple years ago, but I still feel like natural hair is something that you know nowadays is booming, basically. So and um, do I agree with Michael with what Michael Vick said? To an extent. to to an extent, not completely, but I would say maybe to an extent. Um, if I was going to get a job, um, I would make my if I was going to have an interview to my job, I would make myself look presentable because first impressions are something that people care a lot about, and you don't want to ruin that, especially if you're going to work there. So you want to look presentable. I don't care what job it is. You do want to look presentable, and you're going to have to make sacrifices over time that are going to eventually go towards success. Um, so it's like if I'm doing it for money, then it, like for me, like I would definitely agree with um, Michael Vick on that, because it's like, again, when you have afro hair, there are some problems with it. Like, this is probably a stereotype, but maybe if you're in a movie theater and you're blocking somebody's view, not a nice thing to do. That's why if I was ever to go into a movie theater, I would sit all the way back. I just don't understand why you would have to sit right up front. And then because then you don't have to worry about anybody saying, "Oh, you're in the way. Oh, look at that." Like it's people won't get upset. And I've never experienced this personally, but I've always been scared that somebody was going to not like me for my natural hair. So that's something that was always like, oh my God, like what am I gonna do? And um, I by the way, I don't go into movie theaters anymore. I really don't. I avoid them at all costs. But you know, but Colin Kaepernick, uh, yeah, no, I do think that he does need um to be fresh shaven, because when you go through that, like when you actually get it cut, you feel this sense of like clarity, and it's like, oh wow, I feel better. I feel like I look better, and it's not like people with afros don't look good, because they do, but I look and feel, and like, I think mentally what it does for me is it just mentally makes me feel like I can do anything, and so it's just, to me, it's like really, amazing, like to feel that cold air on your scalp, like that wind. That's the best feeling. It really is, especially like during the summertime. um But yeah, so I'm sorry if this was something that I just brought up out of the blue, but I've been wanting to talk about it for a while, and I just don't I don't know how to talk about it without mentioning things. Um and I guess that's all I have to talk about. Uh if you enjoyed this podcast, uh this episode, thank you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.